You know? Sometimes I want to do things like where you could talk about drawings, you could talk about composition, you could talk about any of the visual properties of drawings, but it's like, fucking dumb. It feels dumb. It feels stupid. It feels like a dumbass thing to do because I'm not thinking any of those thoughts when I'm actually making a drawing. They just kind of conflate you. They inflate your head with concepts, properties, time scales that you wouldn't otherwise have been inundated by. And now, at this point in what I'm saying, a naysayer or a devil's advocate, a devil's advocacy representative could come in and say, well, you can make anything valuable. You can make anything valuable, so what's to say that this isn't valuable? Is mayonnaise an instrument, right? So yes, it is, and that's as far as you go. That's literally as far as you go. It's like not. It's not that big a deal. Like and I really don't like romanticism or mysticism. I mean, it's like that fucking. I mean, who said this shit? Camus? Didn't Camus say this shit? It's hard to be an atheist or be that kind of person with that kind of logical brain, but then have a very deeply religious spirit. It's kind of the same thing. As bullshitty as that phrasing is, like, as much as you could pick that apart, because you could pick it apart. You could pick it apart endlessly. Be like, oh, well, isn't logic spiritual? Aren't the frameworks of the universe? It's like, it's like you go down the fucking thing again, and it's like, oh, I got into this really annoying argument, and I still didn't have a drawing. It's like, oh, this really annoying argument really just kept me from being able to make a drawing right now. So drawing is like this, it's like a not verbal thing. It's really not. I mean, after you're done teaching yourself how to draw or think about drawing, it's just like, you just do it. I mean, you don't go on the fucking internet and like tell everybody what kind of water you're drinking. Some people do, it's like people talk too much about things, and there are other ways of understanding how the thing functions. It's like reading about it, drawing about it, talking about it. There's so much pressure to find like a lot of good import in any of those ways that you try to talk about making something or drawing. And I think that the pressure comes from everybody having to like maybe work too much or anything, but it's like, I don't know what's good or bad. I learn a lot from work. And I think that a lot of people maybe don't understand that, let's say the fucking world ended and no one had a job anymore, right? Here's the kicker. You might be clocking in more hours at your apocalypse job, which could just be you like tying together little pieces of rope for 17 hours a day, for maybe 6 months, and then you're not doing that, and then you can go scavenge for paper and markers or little pieces of charcoal. A lot of the important, beautiful things in the world are not language-based, and a lot of the language-based things are maybe like not visual. My point is, I think it's bad and dangerous for anybody to watch those Art 21 videos or any of that shit, Louisiana Channel. It's all bullshit. It really is. It's 100% bullshit. And it's like, maybe I'm being a naysayer or whatever, but it's not doing the thing. It's not doing the thing. And, in 20 years, you're going to regret talking about it like that. You're going to look back on this. Yeah, maybe. I also don't take it that seriously. So, hey, like, goddamn, dude. It's like magic. It's like chaos magic. It's like black magic. It's like physics. the intentionality that you put into something is, I'm not even going to say what it is or what it does. I'm just going to say that it's maybe important to pay attention to that. I mean, I make very conscious decisions to not want to make things that kind of exclusively go on a wall. It took me a long time to get to somewhere like that, but I mean, it doesn't, making books makes a lot more sense to me than anything going on a wall. It just does. The proximity, I think, is beautiful. It makes sense. I like to look at things very quickly. It's my personal way to look at things. I think that if I look at things slowly, if I look at things too slowly, like if I was to have if I was Matisse or some bullshit, if I was Manet, and I was looking at paintings that I did in my studio, and I was watching different lights come over them and leave, how many fucking paintings could you have had in the time that you were, glazing one painting? I don't know. It's not a big fucking deal. This is the lecture that I would be forced to give if I was ever invited to some kind of institution or any kind of like Zoom-based lecture about drawing. It's all bullshit. You think Bruce Nauman's got that vocabulary shit in his head when he's in there gluing shit together? No! Bruce Nauman, Indiana boy! Bear Mattern, Indiana boy! We're not thinking about that shit. Just doing stuff. And it's not to say that, I don't want to be anti-intellectual, because I do think that, I don't want to debase what I already said about, like, the intentionality you put into something being, like, an important kind of registry for what kinds of things you can expect to get out of that thing, but I am an anti-intellectual, because I don't think that intellect is that fucking hard to come by. I think that even the hardest things in the universe that human beings study or think about, I mean, things get highly theoretical, but you train and you train and you train and you train, and eventually the machine components that go together to inform any kind of set of like intellectual or mathematical or scientific rituals are predictable up to a certain point. They're predictable. So, I mean, what do you want to do? You want to make something different every day? You want to make a version of the same thing every day? You want to sit down and think about how those two thoughts are kind of the same thought? I mean, like, what's happening? Like, it's not a big deal.